Alright, what's going on, guys? So we're going to be scaling things down here today, and I'm going to be using some Z-Man soft plastics. So they recently, it's been about a year now, but I still think that's somewhat recent. Z-Man came out with their micro finesse section of baits. They got a couple of them, I don't know, 4 or 5 or so, picked up several packages. Today we're going to be fishing this little, is it Z-Man Shad FryZ, or Shad FryZ? I think it's pronounced Shad FryZ. Just a little swim bait, 1.75 inches in this fire choose color. I don't know about you, but this color reminds me a lot of those like little orange gummy snacks that I had a lot as a child. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but we're going to be fishing this little 1.75 inch swim bait around this little lake, and we'll see what we can get on it today. Alright, so let's just take a better look at this lure. I've got it on a 1/32 ounce jig head. I think the hook might be just slightly too small for this, but we will make it work. Nice little paddle tail here on the back. Now, this is their Elastotex plastic material, which is supposed to be very stretchy and very durable. I think it's the same material that Nico uses in their soft plastics, but it's super thin here, which I'm sure it's going to give it really nice action, but I'm just worried, even though it's supposed to be this very durable material, that it's just going to snap if a fish bites the tail here, because look how thin that is. But we'll try it out. I do like how they kind of incorporated a little hook slot here, so it's very easy to stick the hook through and whatnot. Not sure how this is going to go, but let's try it out. Here is the lake we're going to be fishing. A lot of cover here close to shore, so it's going to be hard to bring a fish in. We also got some algae out there and whatnot, but let's go ahead and let's swim this. This is my first experience not only with this lure, but with Z-Man products in general. So let's see if they can win themselves a new customer. Oh, there we go. First fish on the little Shad FryZ thingy, little largemouth. Alright, so it's a little guy, but it certainly counts. It's actually the second hit I had. The first one was even smaller than this. I think that was probably going to be a little bluegill, but this little guy had no problem getting this 1.75 inch little soft plastic into his mouth. Let's go ahead, let's get him back, and let's see what else we can get here on this new lure. There we go. Fish on. This one's bigger. Let's see what this guy's going to be. Oh, it's a bluegill. Nice. Alright, so fish number 2 is this pretty good sized bluegill. Not a monster, but a really nice size adult. Once again, had no problem getting this lure in his mouth, which I was a little worried about. Just because usually when I fish for bluegills, or like other like true panfish, I like to keep my lures at roughly about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches, definitely on the smaller side. So this 1.75 inch lure is a little bit bigger than what I would normally throw for bluegills and panfish, but I mean, it worked out for that guy. Oh, that was quick. As soon as this hit the water, it's not a big one though. Is it another little largie? Or no, it looks like a little bluegill. Little bluegill. Yeah, so this one's definitely smaller than that last one, and like at this size I would have thought maybe this would have been just a little bit too big for him. I mean, this is still basically an adult, but usually if I was going to target bluegill of this size, I would definitely be using something smaller than 1.75 inches, but this guy ambushed it as soon as it hit the water and had no problem swallowing it. There we go. That's a nice hit. What is this? Oh, it's a nice bluegill, I think. Let's get him on in here. Yeah, look at that bluegill. All right, take a look at this really nice size bluegill. So yeah, something this size or bigger, never gonna have a problem with that lure, even a bigger lure. But if you're going for bluegill, how often do you find a bluegill of this size, right? It's usually pretty rare, especially if you live somewhere up north. So I still think this lure is probably a little too big for most bluegill, but today we were able to find a couple nice size ones. So far so good. Let's keep going. Oh, there we go. Largemouth. All right, this guy scared me just a little bit. He hit literally right on the edge of this grass line here. I was a split second away from pulling my lure out of the water, and this guy hit it. So second little largemouth bass of the day. There we go. Is that a largie? Yeah. I think the biggest one of the day, but it's definitely not big. But let's get him on in here. Oh, just dropped him. He's in the grass. Let me see if I can grab him. All right, biggest largemouth of the day, even though it's definitely not big. Maybe a foot, something like that. But third one of those guys. I think we got, what, 3 or 4 bluegills, so not a bad session so far. Let's keep going. Maybe we'll catch a couple more. There we go. That's a nice fish. That's going to be a mine cichlid. If we can get him in. He's wrapped himself up in all this algae. Come on, let's get him on in here. First mine cichlid of the day. All right, so first mine of the day, and this guy absolutely crushed it. He swallowed that thing deep. Not a big one, but definitely the best fight of the day. These guys always fight so well. And actually, right before I hooked this guy, I was just thinking I have not gotten mine yet. And that little lure that I'm using, it's probably a pretty good like baby mine imitation, just really bright orange. That one was a little darker, but sometimes they got this really bright orange color on him. So anyway, 3 different species on the lure. Let's keep going. Maybe we'll get one more. There we go. I think that's a nice bass, but he's in the pads and he spit the hook. All right, maybe he didn't spit the hook. Maybe I just ripped the hook out of his mouth. Either way, that's a moot point. All that matters is that I lost it. I saw a glimpse of it. It was big. Pretty sure it was a bass because it was bass shaped. Oh well. Well, let's keep fishing. Let's get something else to kind of make up for that one. Got him. It's a small one. Actually, now he's pulling. He's going to jump. It's going to be, oh, actually, it's not that small. It's a largemouth. Now, this is probably going to be the biggest of the day, assuming we could get him in. Let's go. All right, so yeah, pretty sure this is going to be the biggest largemouth of the day. Unfortunately, he's still a whole lot smaller than that one that I lost a few minutes ago. But yeah, this guy also hit just on the drop before I had a chance to even give the lure any action. But I've seen it sink a little bit, and even sinking super slowly, there's still a really nice paddle in the tail, or I guess motion in the tail. But yeah, that guy's back. I'll make a few more casts, but I think we are going to go ahead and call it a day. Alright guys, so that's going to do it. So let's do our wrap up of the Z-Man Micro Finesse, what was it? The Shad FryZ. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with this. Let me show you the one that I've been using for the last, I don't know, hour and 15 minutes or so that I've been out here. It is still in fishable condition, but it is definitely torn up a little bit. Not really so much in the head and the body section here. That's still in pretty good shape and intact. But over on the tail, hopefully this comes out well. You can see just how thin that last section is. And these sections here are still pretty good, but that paddle on the back of the tail is just barely hanging on. And it's gonna get probably pulled off within another 1 or 2 fish. So it's caught me somewhere around 10 fish today, I think. 4 largemouths, 4 bluegills. I got 1 mine on camera and also 1 mine off camera, so I think that's 10 if I'm not mistaken. And it worked out pretty well. So through 10 catches, plus another probably 10 little hits, I had a pretty good amount of little fish just kind of grab this and pull. And then when I would reel it in, it would kind of look like that. So a lot of small fish going after this thing as well. But definitely a really good lure. Lasted a pretty good amount of time. Most soft plastic would have been torn up after 1 or 2 fish from my experience, so that's pretty good. The Z-Man Micro Finesse collection, this lure and the other ones included, I still personally think they're just a little too big for most panfish. I think these are more made for like bass finesse fishing. Just going for some like smaller presentations, but still targeting largemouths and smallmouths most likely, or some other black bass species. As far as panfish go, I think that's going to be a pretty good lure for some larger panfish, like maybe crappie, or if you got yellow bass or white bass, if you consider those panfish. The yellow bass, definitely they're going to be panfish. Probably a pretty good lure for that. But if you're going after bluegills or some smaller panfish, you're going to have a hard time hooking them unless they're big. Even though we got a couple today, they were certainly on the bigger size, including one of the ones we got. If you're just kind of fishing ponds and lakes during the summer with your family off of docks and whatnot, I think most of the bluegill and other panfish you're going to encounter are going to be just slightly too small to get this thing in their mouths well. You'll catch them once in a while, but if you're targeting bluegills and things like that, you probably want something just a little bit smaller. But overall, I think this is a very nice lure. Definitely glad I picked it up. Don't mind fishing it. And if it lasts through as many fish as it did today, this one little pack should last well over 100 fish. So hope you guys liked it, and I will see you next time.